Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome to episode number 983 of NoDQ video. Only 17 more videos to go until 1,000. Thank you guys for your continued support. Please keep telling a friend. Post this video on Facebook, Twitter, Reddit, and so forth. MySpace, I brought MySpace back from the dead. Yes, it still exists apparently. So if you are on MySpace, which you're probably not, but if you are, please share this video on there. With that being said, let's get down to your questions today. First one comes from Sean T. Flick. What do you think of a fatal four-way match at Summerslam? Brock Lesnar, Samoa Joe, Roman Reigns, and Braun Strowman. And he used my favorite hashtag, Raw After Balls. I guess next week would be second Raw After Balls for the hashtag. Regarding the SummerSlam main event, it's looking right now like it's going to be a fatal four-way match. There's been speculation over the past several weeks and months. There was speculation about Brock Lesnar versus Braun Strowman, which I believe was the original plan until Strowman got injured. And then there was talk about Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar, the rematch. You know, that match was originally supposed to happen for next year's WrestleMania. I have personally said I think WWE should do it sooner, but right now it's looking like there's a very decent chance WWE is going to do the four-way match for SummerSlam. Braun Strowman might come out on Raw and interfere and cause the match to be thrown out, and it leads to all three guys getting the title match at SummerSlam. I could see that happening. I think there's a very decent possibility of that happening. It does seem a bit predictable, but right now, Samoa Joe is hot. The match with Joe and Lesnar was supposed to be a one-off match for Joe, but the feud really started to catch on, and then this week on Raw, the heat, the intensity is there with Lesnar and Joe. And of course you have Strowman, who's red hot right now. Roman Reigns, he's getting the reactions, right? So he must be hot. It seems like a good idea to put these four guys in there and just let them fight and see what happens at SummerSlam. Seems to me like that is the match that they should go with at this point. I did a poll on NoDQ.com and it's winning by a very large margin. I said which match should people vote on for SummerSlam, and pretty much everyone went with the Fatal 4-Way match idea. So that seems to be what the fans want, and WWE can postpone Lesnar and Reigns until WrestleMania 34. Whatever. Not really a big fan of that, but it is what it is, as they say. This one comes from Michael. It's been almost a year that Shelton Benjamin was scheduled to return. When and how do you see him returning? It looks like he's coming back. Apparently he has agreed to a new deal with WWE. WWE was also featuring him on YouTube in recent days, which really got a lot of people speculating about him coming back. There's been talk for the past several months now that Benjamin has been healed from his injury, that WWE would bring him back and go through with that run he was supposed to initially have a year ago prior to getting hurt. The question is now, what does WWE do with him? Where does he fit in? Yes, he's into his 40s now. He's not a youngster anymore, as Gorilla Monsoon would say. He's a veteran. I could see him being paired with American Alpha. That's what I would like to see. I know some people think that that would be too nostalgic. I at least saw one person make that comment, but I'd love to see him take American Alpha under his wing and be their mentor and make a new modern version of Team Angle, but with Shelton Benjamin in Kurt Angle's role and American Alpha in the role of the world's greatest tag team. I would like to see that. Turn American Alpha heel and just let them be the three cocky wrestlers that they can be, that think they're better than everyone else. They think that they're the best wrestlers on the planet and everyone else is below them. That's what I would do with those guys. Make it like a modern day varsity club type thing. Play off their amateur experience and just make them a bunch of cocky jocks. That's what I would do. This one comes from Jishnu. Hey Aaron, do you expect the Miz Taraj to cost Roman Reigns the match against Joe so that we can have Shield versus Miz Taraj at SummerSlam? Well, like I said in that previous question, it's looking like Reigns will be in the SummerSlam main event, whether it's the Fatal 4-Way match or a one-on-one match. It's looking like Reigns is going to be in that match. I would be really surprised if it went in a different direction where Miz Taraj cost Reigns the match. Really makes no sense right now. What I think makes more sense is WWE does that Fatal 4-Way for SummerSlam or whatever with Reigns involved. And at SummerSlam you have Ambrose and Rollins versus the 3 members of Miz Taraj, 2-on-3, and Rollins and Ambrose come up a bit short. Miz Taraj beats them 3-on-2. After SummerSlam, Rollins and Ambrose need some backup. They need some serious help. The numbers game proves to be too much. And yes, it's Bo Dallas and Curtis Axel, but now that these guys are on TV, you gave Jinder Mahal a push. Why not give these guys a push? Build up their credibility, do something with them. And with the 3 guys gaining some momentum, you bring back Roman Reigns. Next pay-per-view in LA, I believe. I'm not even sure, and I'm from LA. No Mercy. I get it confused because they've been changing the pay-per-views and the names around, moving them to different months of the year. But I believe it's No Mercy Staples Center in September. That's the next Raw pay-per-view. Shield reunion. Bring back Roman Reigns into the fold, and you do the Shield versus the Miz Taraj in Los Angeles in Miz's neck of the woods, Hollywood. Seems like a good opportunity to do that. You would think we're going to see that Shield reunion sooner than later. And the fact that Ambrose would say it's not going to happen on TV, that's carny for it's going to happen. And, you know, it only makes sense to do a one-off with these guys while they're all on the same brand. They're all baby faces. Yes, Roman Reigns is still a face, technically. And you do the Shield reunion. And, of course, that helps maybe win over Reigns and at least temporarily gets him cheered by the fans. They might still do the "you suck" or "you still suck" chants at him, even if he's with Ambrose and Rollins. But a Shield reunion might help get Reigns a little bit of a pop for the time being. This one comes from Cheyenne. What is going on with the Revival? They are doing main event matches, ... F the Revival. No, I'm kidding. I actually like the Revival a lot. I think they're great. I think that unfortunately they're getting lost in the shuffle very quickly. Now maybe the injury played a role in the Revival losing their momentum, but now that they're ready to go, I think that they should be right in the mix, and it hasn't happened yet. You basically have the Hardys and Cesaro dominating the tag team scene. I'd love to see the Revival get back in the mix, maybe turn them faces. I'm not sure, but they got to do something with these guys. You know, you call them up, and they're capable of having really great matches. You know, part of the problem is they don't really have the character development that some of the other teams have, but, you know, they were doing so well in NXT. You got to just take a chance with these guys and do something interesting with them. Let them be badasses. You also have Anderson and Gallows getting lost in the shuffle as well, so it's not really looking too good for the Raw Tag Division right now. It feels very flat, and it feels like these teams that should be doing more are just lost in the shuffle. They're not doing anything practically. This one comes from Larby. Are the Hype Brothers breaking up too? After the Battle Royal, it seems like so. Lately, we've seen too many tag team breakups. It seems to be that way, although if a tree falls in the forest and nobody hears it, doesn't make a sound. It's like these two guys are barely even on television as it is. So if they break up, does anybody really care? Is there really a reason to be invested in a breakup? The problem is you bring back Ryder from his injury and then you immediately start teasing a breakup. I think that's the wrong way to go with it. You want fans to care about the tag team before you break them up. Otherwise, they should have just not even done a storyline to begin with. Just have Zack Ryder come back and be a single star or put over people, whatever he does. But if you're going to have them as a team again, then let them be a team for a while. Let them make a strong run towards the tag team titles and then tease a breakup so fans might actually, you know, care about it. It does seem like they're breaking up though, although doesn't seem like it's going to do either guy any favors. I mean, Ryder will just go back to doing his thing, barely getting on TV, and when he's on TV, he's putting over somebody else. And Mojo Rawley, you know, they had him win the Andre Battle Royal just for that publicity, it seems, and they really have no set plan for the guy. He's just a body. He's just there. That's what I said about Jinder Mahal, though, and he became WWE champion, so who knows? Maybe WWE one day, Road Dogg or somebody with power will say, hey, we got something here. We got an idea for Mojo Rawley, and all of a sudden he's being pushed again. You never know. Got this one here from Kurt Smith. Hey Aaron, how do you think Carmella is doing as the top heel on SmackDown with Bliss gone? I've been pleasantly surprised. I think she's doing very well for herself, but I think a lot of it has to do with James Ellsworth. And to be honest, I'm not really a big fan of Ellsworth at this point. I think his routine is very much played out, but he is getting the heat. Whether it's X-Pac heat or not, we really don't know if it's the good heat or the go-away heat, but people are making noise and reacting to him, and he seems to be in the spotlight more so than Carmella. Now, with that being said, I think when Carmella has been on the mic, she is starting to shine and come into her own. It's taken about a year, but she is slowly showing improvement and being able to develop her character more and seem to have more confidence on the mic and as a character. We'll see if she continues to get better. The Miz is a perfect example of somebody who continued to get better year after year after year, and maybe Carmella will be that female version of The Miz where she keeps getting better. That's the key to keep improving in your craft. This one comes from my good buddy Tyler Joseph Smith, who was part of the NoDQ panel this past week. What's your opinion on Matt Morgan and WWE signing him, or is it too late? I've always been impressed. I would be surprised if they brought him back, but it's been so long now since he's been in WWE, and he has a different look. He's more toned, and I think that fans, for the most part, would forget about that whole stuttering gimmick. He could theoretically come in with a fresh start and maybe get over. He's got the size, but my feeling is they're not going to bring him in because they have other prospects right now. They have big casts that they're pushing as the next tall guy that they want to strap the rocket on and push him to the moon. So I think it's more likely they're going to try to push younger guys. When you're somebody who's older like Matt Morgan, it's harder to get back in. You know, with Shelton Benjamin, he'll fit in because he's a veteran. He can work with the younger guys. With Morgan, you know, you would want to push the guy really strongly because of his size. You would want to give him a main event level push. The question is, will they invest in him when he's been gone from the company for so long? Not sure if they're going to do that, but I would not rule it out. This one comes from Logan. Looks like he has Shane Douglas, correct me if I'm wrong, in his avatar picture. Hey Aaron, in the unlikely event that The Undertaker does return for WrestleMania 34 next year, who could you see him facing? If, and that's a big if, Undertaker comes back for one more match, it would have to be one of two people. Either John Cena, because that's the one big match we haven't seen that I've been talking about for the longest time, or a rematch with Roman Reigns. He comes back and tries to get revenge on Reigns. I don't think either is going to happen. I think Undertaker's done, and the quality of that Roman Reigns match, I think, was not really up to par. And for Undertaker to come back next year, he's a full year older, and you know, he may or may not have had that surgery. If he has, there's pretty much zero chance of him coming back. So if he did come back, it would have to be one of those two guys. Nobody else, I think, would really make sense. Lesnar would not make sense, and Triple H would not really make sense. I would not want to see that again. I suppose that could happen, the idea of doing the safe match, but we've seen that enough times. It would have to be Cena or Reigns, and Cena would seem like a better idea, but I don't think it's going to happen. This one comes from G Host. Buy or sell on which dream match you would have liked to have seen, Austin versus Goldberg or Taker versus Sting. Austin versus Goldberg. That match, when both were at their peaks during the Monday Night War era, that would have potentially done the biggest pay-per-view buy rate of all time. Maybe not even potentially. I'm fairly confident it would have broken any pay-per-view record. Even if you had done it in like 2003, maybe not that late, but if they had brought in Goldberg, if they played their cards right and did what I think they should have done, which is Goldberg should have showed up at WrestleMania 17. WWE should have bought out his Time Warner thing and had him crash the WrestleMania main event and ruin it. Come out there and spear both The Rock and Steve Austin, and war would be declared. A whole new war would begin, and then you would eventually build up to Austin versus Goldberg one-on-one, whether it would be at that Invasion pay-per-view. I think I would have waited on it. Maybe did the 5-on-5 match at Invasion. The WCW guys would win, and then they would get their own show. They would get SmackDown or whatever. And then the next year's WrestleMania, you can do a series of WWF versus WCW matches capped off by Austin versus Goldberg in Toronto. I think that would have been the biggest pay-per-view buy rate in wrestling history if they had done that. So I'd have to go with Austin Goldberg just because of the star power there. Sting and Undertaker, under the right circumstances when both were at their peaks, that would have been a fantastic match. Maybe not as big of a box office draw, but I think it would have been a really solid match if both guys were in phenomenal shape at the peaks of their career. This one comes from ASG. Assuming they got booked right, which Lucha Underground talent would you like to see in WWE? I haven't been watching Lucha Underground, but I know he was there for a while. Ricochet, aka Prince Puma. To me, he's the #1 guy from that group that I would try to recruit into WWE. And I mean, he is definitely somebody that has a lot of people talking. And yeah, he's one of those guys that is known for doing the flips, the flippity floppity floops. But I think the guy has a lot of potential to succeed in WWE. He's got a good look. He's very athletic. You know, seems like a no-brainer to bring him in. He's on that list along with the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega, the list of guys that I would definitely sign to WWE as soon as possible. Pay them the big bucks. Do whatever it takes. You know, WWE's going to try to get their best deal. The other guys are going to try to get their best deal, but hopefully something works out. WWE should definitely get those guys as soon as they can. That'll do it for this edition of NoDQ Video. Thank you guys very much again for watching. I appreciate it. August 16th. That is episode number 1000 of NoDQ Video. A little over a month away. Check out the old videos. Check out episode 1. I actually have a playlist of the best of NoDQ Video. You guys can check that out over on the YouTube channel and leave a comment on NoDQ.com. I do respond to some of the YouTube comments, but I try to get people engaged on NoDQ.com. So if you go on there, leave me a comment. I'll try my best to respond to you. Any questions or comments you have, I'll be happy to respond and give you my thoughts. Or if you have an idea about something, I'll let you know what I think about it. Leave a comment for this video, episode number 983 on NoDQ.com. There's a specific link page for that with the video. Leave a comment there at the bottom, the discuss comments. And thank you guys that are leaving comments. Jishnu and a lot of you guys out there are sending in your comments and contributing. You know, Tyler Joseph Smith's another guy. You guys are awesome. So thank you for leaving your comments on NoDQ. Scooby Diesel's another one. I want to name as many people as possible, but you know, we have like a top 10 list there. Everyone who's on that list, thank you guys very much for your contributions and interacting with other people and leaving your thoughts on the various news articles and other content on the site. So with that being said, I will see you guys next time for 984 as the road to 1000 August 16th continues.